Okay, so my apologies at the first section of you couldn't hear my voice. So basically, all I did was I installed the WSS role, and then I configured update storage and synchronization as we demonstrate in class, and then I set the storage location for to download updates. So it'd be the root directory slash updates or some kind of any folder where it would store the updates, and then I click and then I selected security updates and critical updates for the synchronization, and I synchronized the updates manually rather than on a schedule. And to demonstrate the environment with WSS is install, configure, and synchronize with the updates from Microsoft Update. I just see here. Yeah, we see here that the security updates have not been installed. Or the security updates and the critical updates would all be found here. So we want to create a group policy object for update management. We go to the group policy management console, which will be found here, and then we click on domains, and then here create GPO in this domain, and then we would call it WSUS patch deployment. Click OK. And then here we click right click on it, and then click edit. Computer configuration, administrative templates. Windows Update. Specify. Should not up. We added this policy setting. And then we will set this to. We will set this to HTTP slash host name, and then the port number, and it's going to be the same. Do not import. So we set the WSUS URL. And then we need to configure automatic updates. Enable this. And then download and notify for install. Apply. And then I have to set the automatic update detection frequency. Gotta enable this. Set to 6 hours. And then assign policies to ensure updates are approved and scheduled. So we can go back to configure automatic updates. And then we make sure that it's scheduled every day outside of work hours. And then for number 5, demonstrate the configuration of group policy settings when targeting specific batches for deployment on client machines. First, we need to update the group policy on the client machine using gu update/force command in PowerShell, and then we'll update the policy. And I'll show that the group the policy update has been completed. So for section 3, PowerShell based patch deployment, this is the part that I had the most trouble with. So we're gonna have PowerShell script to remotely check for available updates using the evoke command option, and then automate the update installation with PowerShell, including instructions to reboot automatically, and then verify that the update was complete, and then it should be successful. And then we should obviously look at the event logs and the logs that are generated to see if the updates were successful, and if there's any errors, you could look at that and correct them. So if I have, this is my client VM here, and then we have the server VM here. This is the remote computer that we want to connect to, which is the client VM. And then we're going to invoke these commands. So we have to install the PowerShell Windows Update module if it's not already installed, and then we'll import the module. And then we want to ensure that the WSS client configuration is correct. And then there's a variable for the WSS server, and then the status of the server. And then we're going to force the client to check for updates from WSUS, and then it'll check for updates from the Microsoft Update server, and then it'll install the updates, and then it will verify that the updates are installed by checking the update log, and then it'll write to the console that it installed the updates, and then we'll check that the WSS configuration, the registry, that it's pointing to the WSUS server, and then it will check for the updates and then we can check for errors in update deployment from the event log. So we have this variable, and we pass this cmdlet to the to this variable, and then it will get the event for the Windows Microsoft Update client, and then it will print it to the screen. And if there's any error, it will output the error to the console. So if we run it here, and then it's going to ask for authentication, which would be gonna check for updates. And now it's gonna save to the desktop on the client VM, the log file for the Windows update, so we can see if there's any errors, what exactly happened, and uh, so we see that there's an error here, and the update wasn't successful. And if we go to the client VM, we'll see that the log file is here, and these are the errors that are reported, and that's the I was having issues here. So, and I tried to fix these issues through making sure that the WSUS is configured properly, and as soon as every time I tried that, wouldn't be it just wouldn't get fixed. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. And we can, if we go to the event viewer, we can find that. I'll refresh. Find that the Windows failed to install these following updates. Exactly the same error that was reported here. So that concludes this lab. So we demonstrated WSS configuration and creating a group policy for patch management.